Hello and welcome. I'm KJ.
And I'm Swally.
Nice to have you all here. We are over here at UnMaddening, attempting to unmadden a lot of things, starting with ourselves. We're coming at everything from a faith-based perspective, and we're looking at what's going on in our own lives and the lives of the people around us, on the planet. We're going to talk about current events and probably sound like super oldies when we chat about the good old days and what once was.
Ah, the good old days.
Yes, the good old days. We're just looking around at what's happening, and the chaos, the madness. We're viewing it all from a pre-trib perspective, and we just want to talk about what we see and how it makes us feel. And we're hoping to share it with you guys, and that you might enjoy and potentially have some thoughts that maybe ring true to you. Maybe while we're having these chats, we might even learn to suck a bit less and try harder. I've been trying for a long time myself,
And hopefully not upset anyone in the process of it. But there is a lot of snowflakes out there nowadays. But
Is
it's
true.
not our
This is
entire aim
true.
is to try not to upset people, but speak the truth.
Yes. That being said, let's move right on to our first little segment here, which is the word of the day.
The word of the day.
The word of the day.
It's the word of the day.
The word of the day.
It reminds me of Sesame Street, that one.
Yeah, look, it is very
Is that
Sesame
Elmo
Street.
dancing around, singing the word of the day?
Probably. But the word of the day today, my friend Swiley, what is it? It is upset.
You are never, ever allowed to upset.
Upset.
Literally anybody. You
What?
are not allowed to upset anybody.
Well, it's very hard not to
No.
upset people nowadays. People just enjoy being upset at the moment.
I think that's the biggest problem of it all. Instead of just choosing to be like, oh, that wasn't a big deal, that person did not intentionally mean harm to me, people will choose to be falsely upset by it. Like, you're not actually upset. You just want the attention for claiming that you're upset. Anyway, I did some Googleizing.
Right.
Smiles. I checked to see what the Urban Dictionary kind of terminology on the old Googleizer said
Urban
regarding-
Dictionary. That's never a good idea.
regarding, well, it's going to be a common theme. Let's roll with it. Other synonyms for being upset, right?
Okay.
And there's
go
some
on,
good ones
hit
in
me.
here that are oldies kind of style ones, like go ballistic. I know you're familiar with
Yeah,
that.
go ballistic's what you do when you've lost the plot.
Heard it before. Yeah, no
Yep.
drama. Ropeable, another one that
Yep,
I'm
ropeable
like
makes sense. Yep.
fully aware of, not an issue. This one was really unusual to me, and we definitely have to ask a younger person if it's a common phrase used for having a hurt feelings report or being, upset. But it's het up. HET space up, separate word.
Het up.
Up.
Het up. Is that? No. That does sound like a very new world, new genre.
I don't
Something
know.
het. Het.
I just think they like to just make up all these new random things all the time. But the definition of it, which is just the same as any of the other synonyms for the word upset, is to be highly excited or upset. So it's just I'm
Usually
super
when you're
happy about the
excited, you're not
situation, or
upset,
I'm
though.
losing.
Why would you be upset to be excited? Oh, I'm getting a new car today. Oh, I'm het
I
up.
feel really head up about this. I don't know where to place my emotions. This is another great one.
on then.
Wrathy,
Wrathy.
as in to feel your wrath.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you've just
I'm
become
wrathy.
You've become
now.
wrath now.
Yes. You've embodied it. You've
Yeah.
completely personified that
I
emotion.
am wrath.
You are wrathy. Salty is a good one.
Yeah, salty makes sense.
I like it. It's
Yep.
vintage. It sounds very ochre. It's Australian. Not mad about that one.
Well, don't get salty now, will you?
No, I won't. But if I stroll down a little bit lower on this page, you can see other phrases include be cut up. Oh, darling. Be down in the mouth.
Down in the mouth, like an upside down mouth.
I'm just
So instead of
double-checking myself.
smiling, you're
I didn't read this part previously. I would have thought it'd be down in the dumps is what I was going to find on the next line there, but no, it's down in the mouth, as in I suppose that's like a really obvious statement of you're frowning, therefore your like smile is down in the
They
mouth.
used to have the turn your frown upside down.
Maybe that's what that one is about.
But maybe it's just, we'll just get it to a narcissistic way and we'll just be sad about everything.
Oh my goodness, they get worse. Swirls.
Go on then.
Look, this one is pretty standard, being in a funk. Everyone said I'm in a bit of a funk. You know, that's just like I'm just having a bit of a rough time. I'm going to drag myself out of it because,
That's something I can say
have
I've
some
heard
drive.
before, that one.
Yeah, being in a funk.
No, I've not heard that one before, but
You
it's
have
new to
not
me.
heard in a bit
Honestly,
of, like, in a
no.
funk?
No.
Okay, well, there's something wrong with you.
The funk is like a bit of a music.
Yeah, no, you don't. You seriously don't. Okay, there's a problem.
No, we'll move,
I'll address it with
moving
you later. Next one is, wish you had never been born. Instead of
that's
saying,
a bit dramatic, don't you think?
instead of saying I'm upset, you can say I wish I'd never been born.
That's
Or-
very dramatic.
This one is really poetic. It's like Shakespearean.
Okay, go on then.
So I kind of like that it's come back into the dialogue, although what it represents is pretty tragic. Woe is me.
We've
it's on
said
the
that to the
bottom.
kids something. Oh, woe is me when they're complaining about something.
I have to go to bed at my bedtime. Woe is me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Right. Well, let's talk about some other people that have been a little bit upset lately.
Go on. What have we got for me?
Recently, a person was elected to power in the United States.
Did
a
people
dude-
get crazy at that?
Didn't they just my goodness. In particular, the most notable tantrums and woe is me behaviours, or het up, or whatever you want to call them,
Heads up.
were,
Oh my goodness.
were these lefty women. There was so many posts and so many
Terrible.
videos. They just lost their minds, and they've gone on this these rants of how they're going to get back at the rest of the United States for the result of the election. And their starting point was this nonsense of how they were going to infiltrate the lives of the men, because it was obviously the fault of the white men. That's how this happened. So how do we get back at these white men? And you had two opposing parties, but all for the same ridiculous cause. One side was saying, we are going to hit on all of these white men and steal them away from their right-wing conservative wives. And then
Thank you.
yeah, they're probably not interested if you're that lefty. And then the other side was like, that's it. We're never going to do anything as far as beautification ever again. We're not doing our hair. We're not shaving our legs. We're never going to wear makeup. And that's how we're going to get back at you guys for voting in Trump, because we're mad about it.
So we're just going to drop basic hygiene as a protest.
I just don't even get it. Like, it's weird. Whether or not you like Trump, it makes no sense logically
That's not going to change.
for that to be your protest that you're doing.
No.
It's weird.
It's definitely not going to change the outcome of the election
No,
just because you don't wash your hair.
no. Or that you shave it off, or that you stop putting on lippy.
Mm.
It's very unusual.
Well, these are things that you do for yourself.
If you choose to,
Yeah.
sure.
And if you don't choose to, you don't choose to. It's not going to change a political agenda or a political mindset. Or
It's weird that you then place it under the banner of, we are only doing that for your benefit, men. So which are you? Are you a feminist or aren't you? Because if you're claiming that the only reason you ever do any of those things is because you want the male gaze and you want the attention, are you actually a feminist? Do you really care about women's rights? Are you really upset that Kamala was not the one that was made the president of the United States? Or are you just an angry person? Are you het up? Are you really that het up?
extremely het, I think. Well, we should actually check what that actually means before we keep saying it over and over again.
I'm so sorry if it means something vile. I literally just took it off the Googleizer. Not a clue. But these women, I'm sure they were men too, but a lot of the videos that came across my searches were these just really angry women. Lovely women, I'm sure. They just lost their marbles at some point in time before they decided to film themselves and throw it out onto the interweb. And now you can see so many of them. Or maybe they've deleted it now. I hope they have. Redemption. It didn't exist. It always exists on the internet, guys. Just remember that. If you put it out there, it's there. They were saying about how they wanted to kill all the people.
Yes,
that
I was going
voted
to
for
say that
this.
one. There was a lot of videos out there, and a lot of
lot.
angry people saying you've destroyed the world and that's it, it's all over now, and that
The
they're going to go out
violence
and
they
they're
were
going to
inciting.
kill people.
Yes, some of them were outright saying it themselves that if they came across somebody that they knew was, they definitely knew was a Trump voter or just even not a Kamala lover, that they would want to kill them. And they were inciting violence. Absolutely mental.
How is that not in its own right a hate crime? I mean, there's lots of talk about that at the moment in this present time.
Yeah.
How is that not something that, straight away is jumped upon as that is a hate crime? You cannot go around, and that was basically what discriminating things were before was race, religion,
Yep.
and political views.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this is a bit of a weird point because I do think that if you want to say something like that, you should be allowed to say it. I don't think you should be creating a pattern of inciting violence and carrying on like a pork chop. Surely there are better ways to get your point across rather than just going straight to the card of this person should be killed, or I should definitely bed this woman's husband to get back at her for being a righty. It's foolish. It goes nowhere. You're running around in circles and you're not really making an impact for whatever your cause genuinely is. They obviously feel passionate about something here. They must, or you wouldn't come out like
Well,
that.
it's well within their rights to be passionate about something and have
course.
their own view on it, but I think
But we're
when
all
you're
missing the
overstepping
mark.
the line there,
What was the point?
Yeah.
Because now all I've heard is just this nonsense and these ridiculous statements that are psycho, basically.
Yeah.
If you had something genuine that you wanted to say, maybe I would have listened to it. But it's just gone straight over my head
yeah,
and
it's
just
pretty much discredited yourself straight away by
yeah.
the way that you acted.
it's just bled into the line of nothingness because I'm bored by it. Anyway, lots of people like to get upset, and recently you were a little bit upset about trying to order some food there, Swales. What
That's
happened
a
to
funny
you?
story, that one. It wasn't really that recent, but it has happened to me, I'd say a couple of times now.
Yep.
So you're going out to a restaurant and maybe you're not there. Maybe you're just there just to catch up with some friends or just to have a chat.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not all that hungry. And you have a look at the menu and there's quite decent sized meals, large meals. But then the fish and chips look quite nice. So you look at the fish and chips.
It's always a good
It's
pick.
great. But when you get fish and chips, you just want the plain old greasy, battered fish with some fries on the side.
You just want to whinge
You
about
don't
what
want-
it's
you
done to
don't-
your body after.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
right. But
yeah,
you don't
good
want
on ya.
the char grilled snapper. Well, sometimes you do. With
You don't want the
pesto
5-star
sauce.
fish and chips.
No, you just want a fish and chips.
Yeah.
You just want a basic fish
Yeah,
and chips.
all right, yep.
So it's on the kids' menu.
Okay,
I was like, it's on the menu. I'm going to order it.
fair enough.
No, sorry, sir. You can't order that.
Do they call you sir? Do you get
Well,
sirred in that scenario?
No, not really. But I mean, I'm trying to be
You
polite
get
here. I'm
eye-rolled.
expecting a lot more.
You get eye rolled.
Yes.
Yes.
You're not a kid. That's a kid's menu. So why can't I order from the kids' menu?
Yeah.
It's on the menu.
It is.
That's discrimination. That's age discrimination.
It is age.
No, I
it's a
don't
lot
actually
of things.
believe that, but like, but you order it and it's on the menu and it's there. What difference does it make how old I am, whether I order that
Yeah.
or don't order that? I get it. It's on there to make a cheaper alternative for the parents that go out in the meal, but it's on the menu.
Yeah.
I just want that.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a kid's serving size. I
It's
just want the
particularly
actual
weird
small size.
if you're actually sitting at the table with a group of other adults that are ordering proper meals and hors d'oeuvres and whatever else fancy things. I don't know what you
Well,
order when you
yeah.
go out for a meal. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I don't reckon that it would be a big deal that you order the smaller portion for you at that table, which is already making a couple $100 for the table. whoop-de-doo.
Well, I mean, I used to do it when I was a lot younger, and I'd be going out with friends for a meal or something like that. And when you're a lot younger and you're still studying, or you're just starting out in a job, and you don't have a lot of money,
Yeah.
so that there's a big difference between the $50 fish and chips and the $10
And the
kids
kids
servings of
serve,
the fish
yeah.
and chips. And sometimes
That's
you know,
interesting.
I'll just have that. I'm not really that you feign that you're not really that hungry.
So
and
then
only
you
want a
get
small
publicly
serve.
shamed and embarrassed
Yes,
because
yeah.
they're like, not only are you not a child, but now you're a poor adult.
Yeah. Well, you were
can't
mentioning it
win.
when I told you that story the other day. There, you did mention as well. Like, how come when you go to a hotel or you get an Airbnb and you've got
This blows my mind every time as the person that pays the bill for it. How come if I want to take my kid on an airplane, they cost less than an adult does?
I think
Everybody's got the same cheap.
I think it's just an incentive to take your kids on a
No
holiday.
nonsense. Nobody wants to take their kids on holidays. Don't be foolish. Everybody wants a flippin'
I
nanny at
love my
home.
children.
Oh, good on you. I love mine too, but sometimes you don't want them to come
Yeah,
with you.
very true.
If you took them to your hotel, they would be cheaper than if you took your sibling or another adult in the room. Why? It makes no sense. Literally, your toddler coming into that room is going to make a much bigger mess than the other adult human in that room. I don't get it. You got a kid in there in the dunny pulling everything out of the bathroom, the beautifully folded towels in your Balinese hotel now unfolded and shoved into the toilet and inside the bins and all
I'm
sorts
sure
of...
you would not let that happen.
Look, I wouldn't allow it. But I'm just saying the likelihood of its occurrence is far greater with a child, and yet the child is cheaper. And they even let you add more in. They're like, oh, you want an extra kid? No worries, here's a cot. I'm not saying stop doing it, please. Please. Of course I want to bring all the kids everywhere I'm going, and I love that it's cheaper. I just don't understand why it's cheaper for them than it is for another adult that makes less mess. There's a little bit of a broken thing going on there between what we're expecting
But
from
I still
the
can't
adults
order
and
the kids' meal.
children. No. I think in a foreign country you'd be all right to order the kids' meal.
Yeah,
They're probably not
well,
judge
look,
you
it's
so
not saying
harshly.
that I haven't done it before and so I've said nothing about it, but I have had it come up on a couple of, not that I'm going to every single restaurant and trying to order the kids' meal.
But on a couple of occasions it has been like an eyebrow raised and or a refusal.
But I wonder what's going to... Maybe we should do that as a challenge. Maybe I should go in... We should start going to all these restaurants. You and I will go on a date and we'll go... And you can order whatever you'd like to order, and I'll just embarrass you by ordering the kids' meal everywhere we go.
How about you go and you just give me an update after? I'd rather just eat my kid-sized version at home and not be judged for
what
it.
could be done if I just said, look, I identify as someone that can order from the kids' menu. You can't discriminate with this modern stuff that's going on now.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's a catch-22, you know.
I think
You want it
even
some way, you don't
using
want
that,
it some ways.
if we start using that terminology that they are using for these ridiculous statements, then you're just becoming a part of like, yeah, I know you're saying it facetiously and that you don't actually stand for it.
Yeah, that's right.
But for real, why can't you just order that item? Why is that an issue, but it's okay for other people to just completely...
Honestly, I think the world's gone crazy at this point in time.
Mad,
And you're just opening up for more madness.
Yes.
It's
Let's
just-
unmadden a little bit. We're going to
Yes.
unwind as we finish up what we're doing here. We're going to talk about something really cool that I love, and I hope you guys do too.
Are you going to go on the vintage culture chain?
Absolutely.
Oh, here we
It's time
go.
for a little bit of lovies on something that is very dear to my heart, and it's the correct terminology, inline skates, but I call them rollerblades.
Or rollerblades. Well,
'Cause I'm
I believe
Australian,
that was the
so-
original brand that we had, I think, at the time,
Rollerblades.
and the rollerblades.
Rollerblades was a brand,
I
was it?
think it was the brand.
Not in my
Don't
house,
quote
it
me on
wasn't
it,
a
but I think
brand.
when you said rollerblades, that's what the brand that came out.
In my head, that was just what they were, and I didn't know that that was actually a brand. But inline skates,
It's a facial
so
tissue.
cool. Yes, Kleenex. Yeah, they were amazing. So much fun. A few years ago, Smiley and I, we were living in a regional town somewhere, and the rollerblades kind of were making a comeback again in the generation below. And I was like, oh, that is generations plural. How many years it makes
Oh,
a
I don't
generation?
know.
Who knows? Anyway, the kids around the hood were now also on their rollerblades. Like I would be on my rollerblades. I was like, oh, this is weird. Is it cool now? Maybe I don't like it anymore. No, I still love it. It's good. And it was really short lasting. They were doing it for a bit, and then I think they stopped doing it again because they get so bored. I still love rollerblades.
We actually ordered a pair in for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Many moons ago. I don't want to say how many moons. It was a lot of moons.
A lot of moons.
And since then, I have another pair because I had to replace that pair because I really like them.
It's a new moon.
It's always a new moon. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. Anyways, that's vintage culture appreciation for today. Rollerblades. If you don't have a pair and you think, oh gosh, man, they were cool.
Was rollerblades?
They were.
Were rollerblades back then? It was the 90s, I suppose, when rollerblades
It
sort of
was
made a
the
big
90s. Yeah.
big impact.
Yeah.
Was there a sport? Was it like a professional sport with the rollerblades going on, or was it like?
I think there were like low grade professional sports of it, like X Games and stuff, which I don't even know if that exists anymore. But certainly in Australia in the 90s, you had, you got your Commonwealth and your Olympics and all the rest, but you also had these X Games, which was to do with amateur turned pro of things like skateboarding and rollerblading and various other.
Because
cool
I think
skills.
snowboarding was something that they brought into
I
the
think
Olympics,
so.
but snowboarding was
Feel
kind of
free
like
to
an
fact check us, everybody. Like,
leave
I'm
a
not
comment and
certain,
tell us
but
whether we've got it right or wrong.
Yeah. But I think that's true. And then obviously now snowboarding is a big deal. Where rollerblading, it's kind of more fallen by the wayside. Apart from in my heart and in my mind and in my own personal activities, so I love me some rollerblading. Love some Mighty Ducks. Love that ice hockey. That whole vibe was
quack.
awesome.
What a great movie that was.
Emilio. Yes, excellent. Love that. All right. Good times, y'all. That's enough for now.
I think that'll do.
I think
we'll get back as
yabbering
we
on.
go on more and we get more comfortable doing this, and we'll get into some more hard topics and maybe something a little bit more in depth. But for the first episode, I think it's quite lighthearted and we've had a bit of fun.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for listening.
Thank
Catch
you.
you next time. Until then, be nice to each other. God bless. Peace out.
This content is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. We are not professional rollerblades, restaurant owners, pastors, or politicians. You are not more likely to suck less or try harder having listened to these shenanigans.